Day one, 122. I found, I figured out what it. No, I'm better at improvising like that. Ah. Well, on day 122, watch 122. I, oh my God, it was such a realization, people. Such a realization. The whole movie is a conundrum, a representation of life and death. The film, and yeah, I realized this after and during when I watched it. I watched it and I was like, this is such an endearing film for the 122nd time. I mean, all the other times my mind was open for things in it. And but this time I just watched it in awe and everything just clicked afterward. But when I watch, oh, hold on, hold on. Okay. So when I figured it out, what I figured out after I watched it, it all clicked. It was like, oh my God, it was like the moon went away and the sun was just there. And I realized that, like I said, it's just a representation of life and death. It starts out off with the birth of their child, the the little atoms, and it ends with with uh with Wednesday's boyfriend dying, being scared to death, and that the death of I mean we- the the there's an old name for what the French used to call when a guy would have what for the first time with a you know and it was called the little death. Well, he Fester had to do that in order to in order for a little stretch, but he had to go through that for never mind. Well, all I'm saying is it was such a life and death thing and movie, and it all means it. And all I'm saying is that situation with him had to happen for Wednesday to realize that that even though because if he had not fallen for Debbie, then she would not have found true love and realized that she needed to kill her own death. So, you know, it all is about life and death, life and death, life and death. And that death can be important. And it's a process, it's a whole thing. I mean, and even in the part where Fester is reading the book, he's reading it in the beginning and then he sets it down. It's very symbolic of when you watch it for as many times as I have, that it's he dealt with the source material as he did with love itself. I mean, when he was into it, he was in love, but then when Debbie died, he was able to set it down. He set love down to the point where when Wednesday and Pugsley asked him about it afterward, you know, when during the birthday party, um, the he was able to kind of joke about it, you know. So it all about life and death, life and death, life and death, and the kid he had to, he was already close to it a few times too. You know how so just the whole thing, just life and death, and even when even when he is invited to the wedding, He's wearing a yarmulke, and you do the yarmulke ceremony when a boy is becoming a man, and and basically that's the death of him being a child. So him wearing the suit and the yarmulke at the wedding was another symbolism of life and death. The uh, a kid turning into a man and the kid dying so that the man could be born. So you know what I'm saying. Everything in the thing that I can't think of the word for. The bar mitzvah. The bar mitzvah. That's what I meant. So that's all that I noticed and popped in my mind and all that. And all that. Yeah. During my 122nd day of Adam's Family Values. Yep. Well, uh, as I usually do in the end of these, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da da da
So what do we got here? I still haven't been on